We're joined today by Lorraine Koo, Corporate Chief Operating Officer at Dowinn Group. Thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Now, you have extensive experience all across of Asia, but I need to ask, what is the most exciting market for you right now?
To be very honest, I've had experience in Singapore, Macau, and Philippines. All three markets is exciting for me in many different ways. For Singapore, because I was the opening team, and then Marina Bay Sands was my first casino. At a point of time, we just opened up, Singapore's gaming market, which is, Resort World Singapore as well as Marina Bay Sands. So that was exciting then. After which I again went to Macau Galaxy, also as a pre-opening team. That's also exciting because Macau, when I went there about 10, 15 years ago, Macau was the gaming centric or the center for Asia. So from Macau, I learned, what is gaming all about. Unlike Singapore, which we have a lot of rules and regulation that is completely different from the rest of the gaming world, even US. So Macau was an extremely interesting, learning experience for me. And the Philippines, when I came to Philippines to build Soler, it was, extremely difficult, I would say, extremely challenging, because aside from then it was called Resort World Manila, right now it's called Networld, there was no other integrated resort. So Soler doesn't have any name because the owner, Mr. Enrique Rezon, expertise was in port. So Soler is the second integrated resort in the Philippines at a point of time. And we were encountering a lot of challenges, which was, there was very little trust with regards to, how safe Philippines is. And everybody's concentration when they talk about gaming was Macau. And then they have the concern about, Philippines being, lots of scam, and there was some anti-Chinese sentiment towards towards Chinese at that point of time. So there was difficulties and challenges. However, we did overcome that. And at a point of time, we went door to door in Macau to knock on the doors of all the top junket operators in Macau. And after which we managed to, convince them to come over and try. And Soler was miraculously able to ROI within a year. So that was an accomplishment. So if you ask me, which is the most exciting market, from then until now, to me, it's still the Philippines, because due to whatever that's happening in Macau and the, strict gaming regulatory laws in Singapore, Philippines has immense gaming potential. And even up to today, Philippines government is actually supportive of legitimate gaming, which is casinos, integrated resorts, online gaming. Philippines is extremely, supportive. The government, PACOR, regulatory authority, is extremely supportive of, gaming. And they are clamping down on the illegitimate ones, which is the ones creating a bad name for gaming. So Philippines has still immense growth potential. So aside from Metro Manila, they are developing other gaming hubs, which is not only one, they're also developing Clark as the next gaming hub, aside from Metro Manila.
Yeah, we've seen the growth in the numbers themselves, and obviously it came out of COVID much quicker than Macau did. Both Singapore and the Philippines were kind of leading examples as compared to Macau. But a huge component of what is still happening, and one of the major, let's say, changes within Macau is that Macau has basically lost its VIP. A lot of those have then relocated to other regions. But I do understand, having spoken to various operators in the Philippines, VIP is very important for the market. What are the prospects for this year for VIP growth?
The VIP growth in the Philippines is, going on very strong. That's why more and more, companies are opening integrated resorts in the Philippines. even, smaller companies like ours, which is Dowinn Group, we have our two of our own casinos, but we also have, IR projects ongoing, but we are exploring and, looking at several integrated resort projects as well. So there's huge growth potential in the Philippines, not just in Metro Manila and in other areas as well. So we are, and then we have got so many casinos opening in the Philippines. So the junket operators are all coming to the Philippines. But having said that, Dowinn's target market, before, even way before COVID, we have really shifted our target market. While the whole world is still targeting, China, which is the big pie at a point of time, we have really shifted our, database to basically Korea. The reason was that Koreans has the biggest local population in the Philippines as foreigners. The numbers for visitations have also changed. In 2022, China is still the top visitors to Philippines. In 2023, China is not even in the top three.
There's been a massive slowdown overall in terms of the China outbound tourism, even though we were expecting to see more of it. It's been good for Macau, but it hasn't been so great for the rest of the gaming jurisdictions around Asia. Speaking of which, though, I mean, there is still a junket-centric focus. There is a need for junkets, but what role do you think that these junkets are going to be playing in the Philippines in the future? Are they going to continue to be as necessary, or do you think that they're going to kind of trail off in a sense like they did in Macau?
Well, junkets in Philippines will not trail down because, where in Singapore, junkets is not something which is not common. In fact, before a couple of years before, there was no junket. There are agents in Singapore casinos. Macau was the junket, center. And then with the demise or the closure of the majority of the junkets in Macau itself, a lot of them has actually shifted to the Philippines. But the difference is that in the Philippines, the junket operators are not so much Chinese centric anymore. There are some Taiwanese centric. There are still some which is, my key customer database is still Chinese, so I'm still going after the Chinese, which Dowinn Group does not do. We basically diversified, as I said, already 5 years, 6 years ago to Korean market, and from last year we're expanding our database to Southeast Asia, US, and UK. So basically the entire international market. So, we also block our IP address for all our websites in China. So in order not to infringe the law. So Dowinn is a very unique company whereby we actually managed to make the shift way before everyone else does.
Now we've seen transitions between a junket centric focus and then moving into IR. It's happened with other previous junkets which were based in Macau, as we saw within Vietnam, for example, and then also in the Philippines. I'm wondering, how is your transition? How is Dowinn Group's transition into IR? What are the timelines? What can we be looking at for that project?
Well, we are actually making a very slow transition, and within the last 5 years that I've been with Dowinn, we were still a junket then, but over the last over years, we have opened up 2 of our own casinos. One in Rizal Park and Heritage. We just had our soft opening.
Is your attractive potential more about being able to offer them the lines of credit, or being able to give them the other amenities which would come along with being in IR with you, for example?
Well, to be very honest, we do not really give, in Dowinn Group, we do not really give out credit, which is a distinct difference from Macau junket operators. Macau junket operators use credit to lure, the whales from China. But given the fact that gaming is illegal in China, you cannot collect the debts in China. So, but for Dowinn, after, risk assessment and, the risk management we rarely give out credit, even if it's to the whales. So our transaction is mainly cash transactions. So their agents or our agents will basically deal with their own players, and then on our side we deal with the Korean agents itself. So that basically protects us from AML issues, which is we deal with we do the KYC on the players, and then there is no credit link issue that lowers our credit risk with our with for our company. At the same time, the whatever monetary issues or credit is just strictly between the agent and the player itself. So for us, we receive the cash and then we issue the chips. So we basically do not infringe any AML, problems. There's a credit actually, yeah. So credit is very risky. The numbers look big, but how much how much are you actually earning? We rather have a lower so-called GGR on paper and have actual money in
And
the
have less
pocket as
exposure.
compared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes total
the
sense.
risk exposure is too big. Yeah, so that's why we rarely give out credit unless it's a very, very trusted player, which probably has been with us for extremely long time, and then we know the person's background extremely well, and we're comfortable with that. Other than that, we rarely ever give out credit to the players.
There's some super exciting developments which are happening for the Dowinn Group. Thank you again for taking the time to speak with us. We're talking to Lorraine Koo, the Corporate Chief Operating Officer at Dowinn Group. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sir Kesley. Pleasure to meet you again, and then hope to see you in Manila very, very soon.
Definitely.